If the threshold to humankind's death, that we spoke about at the end of the previous session, was as it seemed, though, what meaning would there be to our existence? If death was a terminus, an end that did not open the way to a beginning, what point would there be for our notion of the creative process? Why dream of perfecting life on Earth? Why set forth into the future at all? This is Session 15, Resurrection, in a course titled Evolution of Consciousness, and that is central to a larger view, Evolution of Consciousness Theory. In this session, we explore death with respect to the creative process, and the universe as an evolution of consciousness. For well over a century, science has indoctrinated us to believe that the human being is an organic mechanism, a biological contrivance that, on death, turns off. For well over 2 millennium, religion has indoctrinated us to believe that death is a time of judgment. On death, our body returns to the earth, and our soul travels to the hereafter, where, as a consequence of our actions and obedience in life, we may wallow in perpetual bliss, or languish in perpetual torment. Our evolution of consciousness view of the universe empowers us to embrace a fundamentally different interpretation of the beyond. To introduce this conceptualization of the hereafter, recall that lifespan, or genetically programmed death, emerged in the unicellular life form about 1.2 billion years ago. Death and lifespan define the mechanism through which the creative process more rapidly discarded life's obsolete designs. With the threshold to reflection, circa 100,000 years ago, however, death took on a new meaning. Reflective consciousness exists above organic structure. The human being maintains an internal representation of its world, made up of states of comprehension, states of the individual's consciousness, as opposed to awareness associated with lower levels of body creative activity and organic structure of perception. We maintain and exist within a time-space framework of our own making. With reflection, the individual attained the autonomy to exist as a self-aware being, as a universe, in and of itself. We achieved the consciousness to exist as a soul. Death is a transition, a breaking away of the essential self, from the physical self. On death, the top level of human consciousness, the consciousness that is the soul, separates from the structure of perception that is the body. Perpetuity of the soul is not a matter of faith, nor is the denial of such a matter of science. Perpetuity of the soul is an aspect of human nature, a dimension of the human ability to reflect. To deny the continuation of human consciousness after death, is to deny the uniqueness of our being, the capacity to reason, the human quality of our humanity. If, as our evolution of consciousness view compels us to believe, our essential self continues after death, what will our existence down the road be like? For obvious reasons, the particulars of our experience in the afterlife must await our passing, but our evolution of consciousness understanding of the universe does allow us to make certain conjectures. In life, we experience a world defined by physical time, space, and movement, and maintain a reflective representation of that world, based on our experience. Moreover, our world overlaps with the worlds experienced by others, and, by doing so, contributes to an overall human experience of existence. On death, our link to the physical world ends, but our link to the framework of human consciousness remains. This link, however, is no longer channeled through our experience of physical creation. The sphere of reality we associate with life is dominated by the 15-billion-year-old structure of the universe's pre-reflective evolution. The sphere of reality we associate with afterlife is dominated by the 100,000-year-old structure of humanity's reflective evolution. In the afterlife, we can expect to find ourselves embodied in a physical form, or to experience ourselves as such, and to be able to move within a physical reality. Creative activity manifests in time and space, and our experience of such in life would influence our manifestation of such in the hereafter. Because the afterlife rests on a time-space fabric, not directly associated with the physical universe, however, the fabric of time and space in the beyond would be less rigid. Laws of matter and energy would apply less rigorously. Social and cultural structures would embrace more intimately. On death, we face neither scientific oblivion, nor mythical hell and heaven, but familiar human need and uncertainty, in a landscape far more free and vivid. As our explanation of the beyond suggests, the afterworld is not a mere hell and heaven. Neither does life after death imply the losing of oneself, as the soul merges with that of an all-powerful, all-knowing, and never-changing Creator. This brings us to an idea we call worlds. In life, the human experience embodies the turns of the human quest to further the universe's advance, manifest in a multitude of cultures, communities, and shared human experiences. In afterlife, we would expect the same. By virtue of the diversity of the human experience, humankind's entwinement of consciousness would manifest as a multitude of reflective constructs. Each would be an alignment of souls with a common ideal of existence, and a common path in evolution. Each would be a world. Made rigid by unbending ideas, some worlds would be nearly as solid as the world of the living. Others would be fluent, as strange as we can imagine, given form by minds searching and unsettled. When we take existence beyond life into account, we glimpse the universe's true scope and grandeur. Life embraces the human experience in a construct of physical creation. Afterlife embraces the human experience in a construct of human consciousness, a reflective matrix of existence. Moreover, and as one would expect, the relationship between the two serves a creative purpose. From the standpoint of the individual, the death of another compels us to ponder the nature of existence. When faced with the death of one who is close, we ask what significance that person's life may have held, what purpose that person's death may have served. Death forces us to ask the fundamental human questions, as to creation's nature and significance. It draws us out of our shell of triviality, to, if only for a moment, drive us to contemplate a greater meaning. Likewise, our own death marks a profound moment in our evolution. Death forces us to re-evaluate our deepest notions of who we are, and for what purpose we came into existence, concepts etched into our being by a lifetime faced with the unyielding construct of a physical universe, and the often as unyielding ideologies that have defined our quest to understand such. Death is a time of renewal, a moment when we, as human beings, are free to reinvent ourselves, to creatively discard the old. From the standpoint of the universe, life is the sphere of reality, where new human beings are born into existence. Afterlife is the sphere of reality, where human consciousness entwines to create an orb of reflective thought. Afterlife came into being with reflection. Evolution brought into existence a universe characterized by the birth of human consciousness and life, by the flow of human consciousness across the barrier of death, and by the massing of human consciousness in afterlife. We see in the universe a structure engineered to further evolution. Today, the threshold to meaning unfolds within humankind. With it comes a sense of power and of serenity. We no longer need fear nor sanctify death. We have evolved the capacity to accept death for what it is, a functional aspect of creation, a catalyst in the universe's evolution, in humanity's evolution, and in our personal evolution. Life is the first stage in our existence, the period of our gestation, in a universe more expansive than we may have imagined. In the years and decades ahead, we among the living will feel a growing closeness between the realms. We will more openly talk about death. Our interaction with loved ones, and others who have passed, will become more direct and intimate. As the consciousness of those in life reaches out to embrace the hereafter, the world of the earth will take its place alongside the worlds of the beyond. Unique though it will be, for it is the oldest of worlds, and that in which new souls are born, by virtue of our cognizance, The Earth will become one among the worlds that constitute the greater human sphere. However many centuries or millennia down the road it may be, humanity among the living will reach the point in its existence when it achieves what, on crossing the threshold to meaning, it had set out to do: perfection of life on Earth. At the moment it does, the catalytic function of life and afterlife will have exhausted its evolutionary potential. Humanity will be ready. The boundary between life and death will fall into evolution's trailing arrow and vanish from creation. The sphere of reality that is life, and the sphere of reality that is afterlife, will become one, and the universe will achieve the consciousness to cross the threshold to its ultimate form of existence. In our hearts, do we really feel death is the end? Do we really believe there is nothing more? Given the creative nature of existence, mustn't there be more to life after death than hell and heaven? With our look at life, death, and the hereafter, we complete session 15, in our course titled Evolution of Consciousness. To what end does the unity of life and afterlife open the way to create? Our course titled Evolution of Consciousness continues in session 16, Fulfillment.